Hey everybody, it's your boy Angel. Hope and pray that you're having a blessed day. I know I am. So I'm going to be showing you guys my Domain Monarchs tonight. One of my favorite decks of all time. It really, really is. Obviously not the powerhouse that it used to be, but it can still win you games. Trust me, especially in today's format where, a majority of the meta decks are extra deck reliant. It can still shut your opponent down completely. As I said, still good. Still has really, really broken plays in it. So without further ado, let's get into it and show you guys what we're working with tonight. So starting off, running the 1/8 because that's all Konami will allow us to have, unfortunately. It's at 1 for a reason. The cards were just way broke. Being able to interact on my opponent's turn, tribute off. The old G play used to be, tribute this on your opponent's turn, summon Karaz, pop 2. Whether it was 2 cards that are crucial to your opponent, even if it gave them 2 draws, sometimes it would just be the best play to do that. Or so pop 2 and then draw 2 cards for yourself. It was just way, way too good. Once again, really wish Konami would maybe bump it up to 2. Just let us have 2 copies of the Konami, but just run the 1/8 because right now that's all we can run. But you still need to have it in the deck. Still great. Next up, Triple Erebus. This is the new boss monster of the deck, and tell you the truth, like I said, this effect is just so good. I mean, being able to spin from anywhere, hand, field or graveyard back to my opponent's deck is just way, way too good. Be able to fill my graveyard up with Monarch resources to be able to utilize and whatnot, and for the ability for it to be able to bring itself and other Monarchs back from the graveyard by being able to ditch Monarch Spell and Trap is an amazing effect. So once again, Triple Erebus and never change that ratio. My personal tech choice, double Caius, guys. Double Caius. I mean, Caius itself is, in my opinion, one of the most underappreciated Monarchs. Because, I mean, even with the deck in its prime, when you didn't necessarily have to utilize other Mega Monarchs as much, when you could just run 3/8 or 3 Erebus and whatever else you're going to go after that, I loved using Mega Caius because its effect is so easy to use and so easy to abuse, and being able to get the fullness of it by being able to banish 2 cards my opponent has, burn them for 1,000. It's just way, way too good. It's so solid. Banishing cards is always going to be strong, and then have that 28 body up there. And that board presence as well. After necking my opponent severely, it's just way, way too good. So double Caius. Then I run the 1 Mega Thestalos, be able to get information on my opponent's hand, being able to ditch crucial cards, combo starters, whatever it is that you see in your opponent's hand. Just in case you don't know its effect, when I summon it, tribute summon it rather, I can look into my opponent's hand, discard 1 random card. If it was a monster, I can also inflict damage to that. To my opponent equal to the level of the card times 200, and just being able to see anything. And I actually had one game where I burnt a friend of mine who was playing Blue Eyes for a game because he had 1,500 left, and I just Mega Thestalos and then ditched the Blue Eyes and burnt it for 16. So that was that was a pretty good play. He was kind of salty about that, but it was what it was. And I was kind of shocked to get that win, but hey, it came through in a pinch for me. Just once again, the 1 Mega Thestalos comes in so handy. Really, really good card. So like I said, that's a little tech choice of my own. Then next up, 1 Mega Zaborg. Guys, Zaborg has the most unfair effect of any Monarch ever printed, in my opinion. The ability, so basically what I can just do, summon it, target a card on the field, and then, be able to destroy it. But then guess what? I can summon it, target itself, being a light target that it destroyed, then be able to remove up to 8 extra deck monsters from my opponent's extra deck. That just wins games by itself. You don't even really need to put Domain up after that. I had games where I just know I'm just going to go Mega Zaborg and not even care that I don't have a follow-up monster behind this because my opponent just can't do anything because they rely on the extra deck so much. Like you drop this against ABC game, you drop this against Invoked right now game, because once you get rid of Makaba and Raijin, that's pretty much it. The deck just sucks. It's just way too good right now. It's such a good card. So like I said, I run the 1 Mega Zaborg, and I possibly might bump this up to 2 if I want to take it to locals, anything like that. But the 1 has been working just fine for me, considering I can search it out at any time. Then finishing off my tributes, double Vanity's Fiend, being able to stop my opponent from special summoning when I do not have to, and also be the ability to be able to back this card up with protection in the deck, as you'll be able to see further into the profile. It is just so strong right now. It speaks for itself. It's been a long time strong card in the game. It's always honestly, in my opinion, going to affect a meta in some way, form, or fashion. Granted, more times, it has a deeper impact than other times, but at the same time, it's always going to be a very strong card. Just being able to cut off, my opponent from being able to special summon. And in a lot of, decks cases, the ability to special summon is just their ability to summon in general. They can't special summon anything. They might as well just, scoop it up and throw it in. So double Vanity Spin for me. And that's it for the tributes. Obviously seeing no Karaz, anything like that. I just kind of found Karaz, it was kind of like, it was just obviously, with Aether at 1, not being able to kind of, abuse it like you used to. I just found, there's just other options and better options in my opinion. So I just kind of moved on from that build. Next up, for my tribute fodder, just running triple Edea and then just triple Eidos. These right here work just fine. Have many ways to search them out, get them out there to the field. This is what's been working consistently for me. Just the right amount, not too much, not too little. Just, my 6 tribute fodders right there. Speaks for itself, gives you extra summons here. This is able to, obviously get out your Eidos, and then you can go on to your tribute plays after that. And then the ability that's really crucial, your Edea is really more important nowadays than ever, because being able to recoup those banished assets from the graveyard, those banished assets from the banished zone, your Monarch spells and traps that you used to have, more resources. Being able to get that back with Edea is so crucial now. So this is really, really important nowadays. And obviously, it makes the deck run. So just those 3 and 3, and that rounds off the monsters. Then next up, triple domain, so strong, so good. Just be able to cut my opponent off, and then honestly the effect to be able to get my tributes on board with 1 tribute. Then on top of that, being able to add 800 attack in the battle phase when I'm attacking. This just makes your tribute monster so strong, makes your board so strong, and really honestly just chokes the life out of your opponent in so many different ways. So triple domain. Next up, triple tenacity, being able to search out any Monarch spell and trap that you want. Obviously, we're very, very strong. And once again, now that Pantheism is at 1, cards needed more so than ever. So triple tenacity. Then we're going to be running triple return, being able to search out any Monarch that I want when I want to is so good. And then also one of the neat things about this card actually makes your opponent miss timing on strike. So being able to know that I have return like face up on the field, and then drop my my Monarch use effect, and then knowing that this right here, the resolution of this card makes my opponent miss Solemn Strike, is really, really good, because strike is so prevalent in the meta right now, and it's just really, really solid all around. So being able to get those pieces to my hand and then be able to make my opponent miss out on certain ways to be able to negate my effects is just all all way too good. So once again, triple of my return, great card all around. The next double March of the Monarchs, being able to protect my Monarchs from being targeted and destroyed. Have to, board wipe is around, even though, our boy Darko is going back to 1 once again. You still got, Kaiju Slumber still being used, even though it's at 1 as well, Raigeki, anything like that. And you just don't want your opponent to, draw into something that's going to be able to get rid of your stuff, Forbidden Chalice over your Vanity Spin, and then all of a sudden then they can actually go and kind of make plays from there. Being able to just protect your stuff is just so crucial. So I run the double March. It's been working well for me. 3 is a little bit too much clogs, but 2 is just the right ratio. Just in case you have to ditch 1, you always have the 1 in the deck or your hand to back you up. So double March. 1 Pantheism, because we all know that's why Konami will only allow stop the 1, and this will probably never come back to more than that, at least not for a long time. Draw easy, pitch your Monarch spell and trap, draw 2, then be able to banish this and search out essentially anything you want. This is just way too good. Obviously, card couldn't stay at 3, but 1 Pantheism, it still gets you game, still gets you there sometimes. So you got to run it. And then the 1 Stormforth. Stormforth is so broke. Everybody knows it. I mean, if there's anything that anybody knew had to be hit, when the deck was initially hit, it had to be Stormforth more so than anything, even more so than Pantheism, in my opinion. Because this right here, there's honestly, unless you just negate the card itself, there's almost no way to stop your opponent's stuff from being Stormforth. Because it affects your opponent, not the monsters. So even if you can even Stormforth the Masterpiece, just in case nobody knew that. I've actually had somebody question that, but no, you can just Stormforth the Masterpiece. It affects your player, not the card. So Stormforth way too strong. Hopefully, maybe we'll get it back in the future. Then next up, double Twin Twisters, be able to get rid of that back row, and which is actually very important because especially initially when I go to normal summon my Squires. just in case they have anything back there, your breakthrough skills, your strikes, anything like that. They can, interfere with what I'm trying to do. You want to be able to get rid of that. And then also, the paleo is a very strong contender in today's meta, and you'll be able to have, something to deal with that massive back row. It's good, and also gets rid of, potentially dead cards out of your hand as well. So double twin switch is very strong in the deck. I like to run it. Run the 1 reinforcement of the army, be able to get to my squires. Run the 1 upstart because we want to play 39, and then run the 1 for 1 because another resource to how to get to my squires. So that rounds out the spells. And then I am running triple prime still, because more times than not, this will get sent to the graveyard off Monarch's effects, and then I will actually be able to use this to get resources back. And to me, right now, like I said, now that your resources are more limited than they have been in the past, being able to actually use this for a resource recycler is more crucial. So yeah, once again, I still like 3 prime. I've seen some builds kind of cut it down to 2, which is understandable. But to me, 3 still is good, because you in my opinion, you do kind of need that third one, the potential to come up to be able to get things back. So I like it at 3 still. Then 2 of my favorite trap in the deck, the Monarch's Erupt, to be able to shut down my opponent's monsters. Once again, doesn't do anything to me really. It just really screws my opponent over. And then be able to search, basically a skill drain for my opponent is, it's just way too strong sometimes. It can, like I said, this can really just choke the life out of your opponent as well. Very good card all around. And it's, as I said, this is honestly one of the cards I think, kind of keeps the deck still a little bit viable. Obviously, as I said, it's not as good as it used to be, but being able to drop this is always going to hurt your opponent, especially when you play it at the right time. So double Monarchs are up, very good. And then lastly, our 40th card, we run Escalation of the Monarch. Once again, be able to tribute some of my opponent's turn, very strong, interrupt their plays. And once again, I do believe it's more so needed now, because now that we only have the 1 Aether, you can't just utilize her to be able to have that same interaction. So the 1 Escalation, be able to interrupt my opponent, kind of thwart some of their ideas and plans that they had, and be able to kind of go from there and potentially win the game. Very solid, very strong all around. So that rounds out the deck profile. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, this is my version of my Domain Monarch. This is what I've been utilizing. It's been winning the games, been solid, been consistent, and thank you guys for tuning in. This is your boy Angel. If you have any thing to say, add, critique, like, comment, subscribe, let me know down in the comment section, and be blessed, guys. Peace.